Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Uh, it won't go down. There you go. Oh, good morning. Oh, here we go. This should do it. And there I am, transformed once again into another person. Who are we? What are we doing? Thursday, April 24th, 10:36. It's not early in the morning. I've been waking up and listening to music and honoring somebody who's just passed through the veil into eternal life, who inspired me. You know, I mean, the singer David Thomas, songwriter, singer, performer, creative genius of the band Pere Ubu, has just passed over. And I'll see you later, David, because you were amazing. But, as we pass through this veil, there's we keep going and we keep going through human experiences and adventures. And David had many adventures, I'm sure. I mean, I saw him live a couple of times. As Pere Ubu with his full band, and it was amazing to me. It lifted my spirits, and he inspired me to keep going at a time when I was probably at a lower ebb than I am now, because we all ebb and flow. But yeah, experimental music like that of Pere Ubu pushes the boundaries and opens our minds to a more creative sense of being. And a lot of people have called me many things, and I don't care. But it's that creative flow. Yesterday and the day before, actually every day for the last 3 or 4 days, I've been inspired to write pieces of music, and I get on and do my thing, and I feel inspired, so I do stuff, and I sometimes put it out. Most of the time I do, because I think it's worthwhile to share. And I think that's part and parcel of what we're not doing, is sharing. We're not sharing our insights, our beliefs. We're a bit nervous about sharing what we believe in because we're frightened of being judged, and we're going around judging other people. So we're pointing our finger at ourselves and noticing that we're pointing back at ourselves. He who points the finger gets three fingers pointed back at them. So I've tried to move away from judgment as much as possible from other people. Many people are now mourning the loss of a man that inspired them to do wonderful things for their community within a very limited scope. And I'm not going to mention names because it doesn't matter, because that would just be name calling, which is also a finger pointing exercise. But there are many people that believe in false prophets and false idols and give power to people external to their own personal power, because they're looking to be saved. Saved from what? I've no idea. I mean, saved from pain, yes, please. Saved from suffering, well, as much as possible. But then, we can go back to the ebb and flow. I mean, what is it? What is this human experience? Mine's been very adventurous and very creative and mostly fun. But yeah, have there been downs? Yeah, of course. But you just keep going, don't you? My knowledge doesn't extend much beyond that. Live, love, life. It doesn't really extend much beyond that. I mean, there are all the other buzzwords and bumper stickers and slogans and sigils and signs and ways of explaining how things went wrong, why things went wrong, how things could be better, how we could make a world a better place. But it's our personal journey that affects other people's journeys. So you live, love, life, and you do those deep searches within, mostly, but also, within this wonderful society of humans, all asking the same questions, but none of them coming up with anything close to an answer beyond live, love, life. Sure, they'll lock you up if you don't agree with them. Okay. I, on the other hand, would say you're perfectly entitled to your opinion, but it's not the truth. The truth is elusive. The truth is a loose sieve, and we're sieving through the truth. We're lifting the veils. The closer we get to experiencing our eternal self, the more we understand how loose this sieve is. It's letting all sorts of stuff in. I mean, is this another allegory like cleansing the doors of perception? Is this another spot of wisdom that you've picked up from history? His story. Whose story? His story. There are people I align myself with because I think, oh my gosh, they seem to have an answer, but then they go and die. We all die in the end, I know I'm going to give away the plot, and I'm supposed to not, be doing that. But, spoiler alert, we all die in the end. How do we reduce the suffering? We live, love, life. Try not to hurt anybody on the way. That's a good one too. But you're bound to, really, aren't you? You're going to bump into people. You just will, because you want to integrate, because other humans may have the answer. And you might like, oh, well, I'll listen to them because they got. But I like listening to people so as I can explore my own mind, not so as I can explore theirs. Their mind is just a projection of their being. And so I listen to their projected images, And it's good. It's entertaining. It's fun. But it's also good for me because it gives me some, what is it? The all of social media is just confirmation bias. I'm looking for people who confirm my biases. Well, I'm biased towards live, love, life. So often I find myself watching comedy because the absurdist comedy of the collective is becoming more and more absurd. And if I don't find humor in it, then I'd probably end up crying a lot, which I do cry a bit, but not much, because I avoid that triggers my pain and misery and disappointment most of the time. But it creeps in, doesn't it? There's bound to be points in your life where you go, okay, that's enough misery. That's enough disappointment. Okay. But you don't give up on life. What you do is you go, okay, find a good place. So you find your good place. Well, where is your good place? Where is your good place? Where can you sit in peace and quiet and bring yourself back to you? I believe we're born with it. I try to find that unconditional love that I was born with. And I try to live it. And I try to be kind and caring and empathetic, compassionate to others and their struggles, because we all struggle, don't we? I've been called many things. I honestly don't care. I mean, you call me what you want. I know who I am now. More than ever, I know who I am. And I'm having fun being me. Because there's no point to life without some form of humor. You're just watching people struggle. And we all struggle. But be kind, be caring, be loving. Don't laugh at other people's misfortune. Laugh at the comedy and absurdity of the systems by which society seems to want to live within a certain box. They want this box, and they want to get in that box just like a cat. They want to get in that box and curl up and be safe and warm and secure. Nothing wrong with that. Get in your own box. It's fine. I don't want a box. I know it hurts. Gosh, I hurt myself the other day physically, and it's it's still there as a painful reminder 3 days later, and I'm like, oof, gosh, probably shouldn't have done that. But would I ignore the lesson learned? No, I won't ignore the lesson learned. I will not seek to find more pain, and I think that's an absurdist thing. Those people that hurt themselves knowingly, the willfully ignorant people, the people who do things that hurt them and then they keep doing them because it's familiar. Hi, Conrad. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Lots of things going on in the world, but you got to keep going. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. So, more and more stable. Good. Yeah. There's a certain stability that I'm enjoying too, even though it's chaos. I mean, I've been watching some older movies that were made, not movies, but like little documentaries. One of them is there's part 1 and part 2 of Chaos and Imagination, which features Rupert Sheldrake and Terence McKenna and Abram, and the three of them balance each other out in these conversations, and they're forward thinking people. So they were meeting in the 70s and discussing things, and some of their open discussions spark each other off, and then their shared ideals and ideas are really quite interesting. But Chaos and Imagination, part one and part two, are talks about the possible future of mankind. And some of it's very dark, some of it's very funny, and some of it's just pure mathematics. And all of it doesn't give you any answers. It's just entertaining to watch how people play off of each other. All right. Okay. I started watching Sumo Tatsunami Baya Restings and their daily life. They are cooking, training, and participating tournaments. Got inspiration to be. Perfect. Hello, George Allen. You're here again. I like George Allen. George Allen is a creative man. He goes out and makes up amazing, crazy, brilliant bagpipe tunes in public. I mean, in public spaces. But he's not really looking for an audience. He's playing in nature most of the time, which I find to be inspiring, because I'm inspired by nature, and I'm inspired by people like George. Keep dancing. Hey, George Allen, the bagpiper who lives locally where I live, small pinpoint area of where I live. Excuse me, I'm yawning. I've been awake for a couple of hours. I haven't had much coffee and I haven't had any food. So I need a protein boost and a little bit of coffee to wake me up. Any questions from my wonderful friends? Hey, George, you drink coffee? Yeah, two cups of instant coffee in the morning. Usually when I first wake up. That's kind of gets me going, both physiologically and gives me a little tweak. It's a habit. It's a habit I could break, but I don't want to because I enjoy it. Anyway, yeah. Do you like creativity a lot? I think it's the key to life. I think being creative, as opposed to the other extreme, which is to be destructive. So creativity is the key that I use to unlock my adventurous spirit. And I adventure into experimentation, mostly with music and art. And but I do it with my whole life and my whole being. And I believe that's the way in which I've enjoyed most of my life. But of course, it is a ride. We all have our ups and downs. Do you want to write a book on creativity? No, I want to spark people with influence, and just be creative. And I think by being it, you are influencing more than if you wrote a book. Because as much, I've got some brilliant author friends who write brilliant books. I'm not disciplined enough to sit down and write a book. I have put out a book of poetry called Uncommon Sense, which is available. Uncommon Sense by Nigel R. Mitchell online. It's available on Amazon Books and I think in some bookstores too. But it was published by Human Error Publishing, who contacted me and said, I really like your lyrics of your songs. Do you write poetry? And I said, yes. And then backwards and forwards for a few weeks of editing. And there it was, sitting in a box on my doorstep, or whatever. In Poland, more and more is translated and new are coming. A lot of people started writing. Yes, I mean, many people are realizing that that creative flow they have inside of them needs to be aired. Some people can write it, some people can write music and art and do sculptures, and but there's a creativity to um funnily enough, a good example of this is my doctor. My doctor and I have long discussions about my health and about his health, and he's open about it. And we discuss how uncreative the medical establishment has become, because it's always a fix. They're always looking for an instant fix on something. And there might be many ways of fixing whatever ailment you might have. So he's a creative thinker, but he's stuck within a Western paradigm of what is available. And that's a problem, you see, because I think once you get outside the box, you can start to be more and more creative. Yes, is creating. Yes, is creating. Yes, being is creating, and being influential with that creation. Allow people to see it. I have a niece who is a brilliant artist who doesn't have the confidence to just go, I'm going to do this art and just keep going with it. But she will, she'll get there. Both my daughters are very creative humans, and they're starting to tap into their creativities. And I think that we all have it within us. When I met my baby mama, we had a long conversation, and I said, everybody's an artist. And we got cards printed, and I said, just put artist. And she's like, I can't. So there was some, she was raised by a very, very strict, scientifically minded man who was within boundaries of science, and uh, didn't see herself as a creative, because she believed she had to have the stability of something that was concrete. And as we've seen, science has started to take us in a very odd direction recently. But we're starting to open up to other ideas and other beings. So there are creative beings in every field. I think you can even be very creative in every field. I type within exactly when you said within. Yes, synchronicities. Yeah, I mean, there's a friend of mine who's keeps going back to this synthesis. This idea of this synthesized way of living, and she explores many things that aren't coincidental in her mind. Which a mind is a projection of your being. So in her mind, there's this synchromysticism that seems to be happening within certain people. This synchromysticism, where it's more than way more than deja vu. So but that's one of the things. We've all done that. We've all stepped into a room where we're like, I've been here before, or gone into a place, or heard a conversation. It's like, I'm sure I've done this before. She's saying it's a little more than just coincidence. It's a synchromysticism that we're trying to understand. I mean, we can only understand it if we explore it. So we have to be adventurous. Okay. God, you can't see me. I was urinating in a dog food can. Oh, a little too vivid. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even said it. I should have just read it and just ignored it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I think that's a good one. I think that's good that you did that. If you're out in nature and you got to go, you got to go. All right. Love, live life, keep going, one foot in front of the other. This was going to be a very short one because I have lots to do today. And I'm happy that I got lots to do today. We need to exchange. Okay, we're going to get into the comedy now. The comedy, there is such a brilliant scene in, I can't remember, come on. Oh, Dr. Strangelove. Dr. Strangelove by Stanley Kubrick is a comedy based on the perception of the world coming to an end through nuclear destruction. It's how I learned to live, the subtitle of it, I think, is How I Learned to Love the Bomb. But the comedic parts of it are very, very funny, very dry and very funny. But there's a scene in there where it talks about our fluids, you know, our essence. And in a way, it's funny. And in a way, it's kind of like, well, what is our essence? And our essence is influence. All right. Let's focus on helping people explore the potential of creativity. Yes. I like the girl in that movie too. Yes. There's a, yeah. I mean, I love Peter Sellers and I think it's 4 characters he plays in it, but I like Peter Sellers in that movie, but I actually like all of the writing. I like Slim Pickens when he's riding the bomb at the end. It's like the willful way in which we either completely and utterly follow this very narrow path that is open to us, or whether we explore our full sense of being. Okay, Sellers, great drummer. Yes, actually, surprisingly so. But he was a great human comedian. But apparently, in his personal life, extremely disturbed. But then, he was British. That was racist. I am sorry. All right. I love you. I got to go. Cheers then.